The voice of sharing Durian ASEAN.
Hey, good morning.
Hi everyone.
Selamat pagi.
Good morning. You're listening to DurianASEAN.com.
And yes, you are with me, Arlene.
And Gowri is back today.
Yes, Gowri is back from her university stuff.
That's right. And I will be starting classes again. And that
Aww.
is a bit sad. But yeah, hopefully I can still continue hosting this awesome show with
It
you.
is. And I miss you. I'm going to miss you, Gowri.
I know you will. I'll try my best to be here every day for you.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
So how was your weekend, Arlene?
Oh, my weekend. I actually, it was fun because I went to a wedding party with my friends, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere. There's a lot of like really interesting alternative bands up there.
So do you feel pressured to get married now?
Not really.
No? Okay, that's good.
I feel pressured to even get a boyfriend. It's
All right. We'll start small. We'll get there step by step, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll get there step by step. And guess who is like falling in love if it's not us, both of us?
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Guess who is falling in love right now?
Falling in love with?
With another species, the same species falling in love together.
I'm sorry, are we talking about pandas? Because I don't love pandas.
Yes, we are talking
And
about
I
the
know
lovebirds, pandas.
I know that makes me unpopular, but I cannot pretend to like something that I don't. So this is you. You go for this.
Gowri, you are so out of this world. Like panda is like the cutest thing ever that ever existed in this world.
Okay, they are fat and they are lazy, and there's nothing cute about that.
They are not lazy. They eat like all the time. And guess what? They don't eat meat. They eat vegetables, which is bamboo
And
shoots.
that makes them cute.
Yeah. And the story goes with Kai Kai steals glances at Jia Jia.
In the early mornings, the male panda, Kai Kai, can be seen looking out for female partner Jia Jia through a gate that separates their living areas. So this panda is checking the other panda out.
And I don't understand about this. Like who on earth like monitor the panda as if it's stalking the panda? Like let them have their private moment,
It's probably the mating season now, so they were looking for signs, to see if this male panda will actually have some arousal when he looks at the female panda, which is Jia Jia in this case.
Mm.
And
So like when you say arousal, it is a sign that Kai Kai is slightly more interested in Jia Jia than before. Said by, apparently, he's a doctor. It's called Dr. Cheng Wen-Ho. So apparently you can be a doctor that actually notices signs of love.
do you wish you were a doctor now?
I wish there's a doctor that can, prescribe to me all these signs, then it would be easier for us not to be single.
And what's funny is that they said a year ago this panda was reportedly more into food, but now it's into its female counterpart.
So while there's no telling yet when Singapore will see its first Panda Cup, Dr. Chang's team has been upping the game at matchmaking ahead of Jia Jia's 6th birthday tomorrow. Oh wow, he's turning 6 years old. And panda typically become more sexual at the mature age of 6. Gowri, at the age of 6.
Well, it seems that Singapore is not only trying to match the people now, they're also trying to match pandas too.
There you go. They have a department in their own government just to focus on people having sex with each other and have babies. Apparently, they have a department for the panda as well.
So I'm sure you are excited to waiting for this baby panda to arrive soon, and we'll see what happens with Kai Kai and Jia Jia if they decide to take things further or if they want to just go slow,
Are you sure we are not hosting the e-news, Gowri?
I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, the next news also, it looks like similar to our role as hosting the e-news, is about the dethroned Myanmar beauty queen. So she is seeking an apology for the organizers
Yeah, she was dethroned for an alleged misconduct. Said Tuesday she would only return to her crown if South Korean pageant organizers apologized, and denied accepting free breast implants. So the South Korean pageant organizers
Pageant organizers, is
said,
it?
yeah, said that she accepted free breast implants from them, and she was also competing to become a K-pop star in South Korea. And they were trying to link that together, saying that she didn't really win because she's great, because we were helping her, we were giving her free implants. So then after stripping her for her title, and she's just stepping forward now demanding for an apology.
For God's sake, she's just 16. She's not like 21 or 30. Like give her a break. I think she's doing the right thing. For once, I actually saw her face in Facebook. She doesn't look that bad. She's actually quite a beauty queen, and if she have won the title, she actually deserve it. I'm not sure about the breast implant. When you are 16, do you think about to get a breast implant? Maybe in South Korea, but I'm not sure in Myanmar.
It is very brave of her to step forward and say, I'm not going to accept any of these accusations that you're throwing at me, and I demand for an apology, and I will not accept the title until I get it from the South Korean organizers.
Another one person that is not accepting the charges against him is actually somehow related to your university, University Malaya.
It is. So Associate Professor Dr. Azmi Sharum today pleaded not guilty
Gowri.
to a charge of using seditious words over the Perak 2009 crisis 2 weeks ago. So the statement that he made was that take Perak crisis route for speedy end to Selangor impasse, and that caused him to be charged under this seditious act. And he has pleaded not guilty, but he's still being charged at the court. And
until now, why is it seditious in a way?
a lot of people are confused about that. You're not alone. They are trying to...
I mean, if you openly say racist remarks, rather against the public, against the king, or against whoever it is, or you say something that would create that would heighten national insecurity in a country, then I would understand it. But I don't understand why uttering a sentence that means totally meaningless to a lot of people, or perhaps it's just an opinion, like an academic opinion about certain political maneuvering. Why is that even seditious?
Dr. Azmi Sharum actually would agree with you on that, because he did say that this charge is a blow to academic freedom and the freedom of expression, and he will fight this till the end and hopes that reason will prevail, as opposed to just accusing him of something, making a big deal out of a small thing, really, because like you said, it's not a controversial racial remark. We know that there have been other more controversial remarks made out there, and nothing is being done about that. But when he says, yeah, but when he says something like, take the Perak crisis route for speedy end to Selangor impasse, and that becomes such a big deal, and
yeah, and it is such a big deal that I'm just telling you this, for Zainal Rashid to allow him, Azmi Sharum, for a bill, costed Azmi Sharum 5,000 ringgit and a fixed date of 3rd October for case mentioned. Azmi already paid the bill, by the way, that's why he's out.
And his lawyer is, of course, Gobind Singh Deo, who is the son of the late Karpal Singh.
The revered Karpal Singh.
They are definitely not giving up on this, and they are not going to just submit and say, okay, yes, I'm guilty, and get this over with. They are going to fight it and stand up for themselves, stand up for academic freedom, stand up for freedom of expression, and I think there's also a gathering happening in UM.
It is. I just got information by a person from University Malaya, and apparently there will be a protest done by the students of University Malaya against their against the authority for charging their lecturer.
We cannot keep being scared, and we cannot keep filtering everything, it really kills the democracy in the country, because we are always encouraged to have freedom of expression. You can give out your opinion, you can speak up, but when you do, you just write an article and then you get charged.
The Sedition Act is a complicated matter. If you really look through the law, the piece of law itself, it looks like it's protecting citizens from harmful remarks or harmful threats that can jeopardize the national security of this country. And it is in a way, it was created at a period where the country was transiting towards democracy at that time, having a democracy where the king as well as the government should be put in high regards, and that's the reason why they started this piece of law. But is this something that has been used for the greater good, or it has been used to curb dissenting views?
It is being overused. I think it's not serving its purpose, because like you said, this is nothing that's threatening national security or causing another racial riot. It's nothing like that. And isn't the act supposed to be repealed and replaced with the National Harmony Act? But
haven't yet, it seems. And it's a lot of people are touting this as the new ISA. The government has already repealed the ISA, and perhaps they are using the Sedition Act to sort of be the new layer of the ISA Act.
They should probably revisit the Sedition Act and look at what are the criteria, and probably study it and make some modifications, so you don't just arrest about every single person out there for making any remarks. There should be a proper procedure or a proper indication of what is really seditious in this country.
That is a good point there, especially when you want to charge an academician. Like an academic should have the freedom to express his opinion, regardless whether it's an extreme opinion or it's not. The thing about academician is they should have the freedom to pursue a certain knowledge, and to have the complete freedom to pursue certain knowledge, they should not be bound to laws or rules that would suffocate the freedom of expression and also the academic freedom of this group of academicians.
And when this happens, it curbs the urge in students as well. When they see their lecturer being charged, I'm sure it creates some sort of a fear in them, like, would it be okay for me to speak up? When I do my research, is it okay for me to present all my findings, or do I have to be biased?
And the only worry a student and lecturer should have is to improvise the quality of their research or their study, whatever it is that related to the quality of what they want to produce, not in terms of the fear of whether whatever that they have produced would offend anyone or would somehow cause them going to jail or having to pay hefty bailouts. So it shouldn't be towards that sort of direction.
There's already been a lot of people criticizing our education system, saying that it doesn't encourage our students to think. And with cases like this, it's probably
Do you believe so? I mean, you are a
worse.
student yourself. Do you think it sort of instill yourself to stop you from thinking?
It definitely doesn't provide much room for thinking. It's a lot of just memorizing and regurgitating facts that you read
Spoon-feeding.
for exams. And even if you notice for exams, when they ask for your opinion, even your opinion has to match like what they have written, what's in the answer
The scheme answer.
Exactly. It's not, you can't just give any opinion at all, and it's not going to be right. So there's definitely room for improvement when it comes to critical thinking.
When it comes to opinion, there's this one person, his name is Said Hamidi. He shared his opinion about the non-Malays. So he said that...
Why is this not seditious?
He said majority of the non-Malays are moderate, respect other races.
This actually came in light of his comment about 2 days ago when he said, according to him, it was actually taken out of context. The Malaysian Insider reported that he claimed that non-Malays in this country are getting very arrogant. and he said we should, the non-Malays should by right should be indebted to the government, indebted to the Malays for giving us a chance to live in this country.
Yeah,
But
Gowri, feel indebted, please.
I'm so indebted to this country and everything it has done for me.
And of course, feel indebted towards the Malay. They are the ones who sort of.
I sense a very rich sarcasm there. So, yeah, and he apparently he said, he hinted that the non-Malays are getting very arrogant, that they don't know their place in this country, and he's not too happy about that. He said, no, I said something else, and the Malaysian insider was misquoting me, taking my words out of context.
In fact, he said that he was referring these remarks to leaders and supporters of the DAP. I'm not sure why they are demonizing DAP here. In his speech, he said that, you know, the DAPs lack respect for the feelings of Malays. And he also said that this was evident in the comments made by the opposition party and their supporters, especially those posted on pro-opposition news portals and the social media.
Being on social media, you notice that this kind of comments comes from both parties. I don't think it's just...
Some of the stuff in social media can be really childish, even though
and really seditious.
Really seditious.
That's my new favorite word.
You shouldn't laugh too much, Gowri. You can be seditious for laughing too much, actually.
Right.
Okay, carry on with the news. It seems like
you were saying about the social media.
Yeah,
that
it seems
there's
like
a lot of.
It seems like in the social media, there's no control over it, and it is all right to have the freedom to post whatever you want in social media. It's your platform, you know. It's a very narcissistic platform. In fact, it's like your own spotlight, and also the spotlight of other people. But the problem, it becomes a real problem when politicians does it. A lot of politicians don't realize they are in the position of power and influence. Whatever they say, whatever they do, will influence the opinions of public. A lot of the politicians in Malaysia, whenever they are in power, they just do whatever they want. They say whatever they want. They think that they have the absolute power to exercise their freedom. But with freedom comes responsibility. I mean, I'm quoting from Superman, but
actually Spider-Man.
That's Spider-Man. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, Spider-Man.
So I think there's a different way to look at this. Is a lot of people out there. There's a general misconception that if you're not for the government, you're against the government, and that is not the way to look at things, because there are people like us who we are not for, partisan politics. It's not like we're for the government or we're for the opposition. We're kind of sitting on the fence, and we just want to see who can really do the job, who can really deliver what they promised. So there's all this thing about, the opposition is saying these things, the government is saying these things, and it's become such a BNPKR thing in this country, and it shouldn't be that way, really.
It shouldn't be that way. In fact, the way that it should be is for society to accept different views and to accept that individual responsibility, especially among politicians, is more important than the promise of what the political party promises. Let's move on to news about business and investment. So there are a few news about business and investment. We start off with Japan. Apparently, Japan is shifting more investment to ASEAN in strategic rebalancing.
So Arlene, don't be surprised if the next time you buy a product and then it says
Japanese
made in
product.
Thailand or made in Indonesia as opposed to made in China. Because Japan is moving towards Asia, the ASEAN countries now, for all their product investments instead of the usual China.
China is still a big country with huge potential for the Japanese. Nevertheless, said by Yasuhide, I have no idea how to say.
I think it's Yasuhide.
Yeah, Yasuhide. You are so Japanese. Thanks, Gowri. He's the managing partner of the consultancy KPMG Myanmar office. The cost of labor in China is getting higher, unfortunately, that in order for them to expand their manufacturing facilities, Japanese firms are looking at the lower cost area like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar.
it is wonderful that Japan is turning heads towards ASEAN countries, but there's also a worry that when they do that, because we do know that people from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar are, as it is, they're not doing very well, they're not getting paid
And they are a
well.
totalitarian country, or they are a country that is governed by a dictator. Either it's a military dictator, a socialist dictator, but the power are very centralized in these countries, and it's a worry. It's a worrisome because the rights of the rights of workers in Cambodia, Vietnam, and also Myanmar are not really well protected. And what is worrisome to me, especially, how can you go from one country to another on the basis of labor costs? It should be on the basis of human rights or other more important basis.
So it's definitely great for their investment because they're lowering their cost in that sense. But like you said, their rights are already not being protected. Even in Malaysia, you see all these workers from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar not even being treated like humans. Some of them are being treated worse than animals. So when it comes to lowering the labor cost, which means that they're going to get paid less than what probably the Chinese are getting paid to do the same work. So that in a way makes things worse for us because we're not improving, especially these three countries here.
Definitely the improvement will be very lacking because when you have a very low labor cost, it is hard for society to be able to have the freedom to choose whatever they want in terms of their spending power, their the kind of work that they want to do. So it is sad that the capitalistic world has view labor as a means to an end without like really contribute towards the improvement of the lives of society.
And if Japan is really serious about doing this, then the government in these three countries really need to step up and make sure that their citizens do not get exploited by all these multinational corporations and that they do get paid a minimum, a reasonable amount at least, and not be exploited.
Yeah, and another country that is also facing a certain kind of weak economic activity is Indonesia, but in the scope of Indonesia is the small trade surpluses. Indonesia's trade balance returned to a small surplus in July due to a sharp fall in imports as economic activities slowed during the Muslim fasting month in Southeast Asia's largest economy. I guess this was a few months ago.
And it's I was reading a couple of articles that even after Jokowi has taken over now, the economy in Indonesia still remains fragile. It's still a bit slow. Of course, it's still very early for him to do anything, I guess.
They would need Japan a lot in terms of investment then if he's still very weak.
That is a great idea, and they do have a huge amount of human capital over there. According to the data from the Statistics Bureau, it showed that Indonesia ran a small trade surplus of 123.7 million in July, compared to a revised deficit of 288 million the previous month. And analysts polled by Reuters had expected at least 390 million in deficit.
And it was further being spoken by Santitam Satirathai, an analyst with the Credit Suisse in Jakarta, said that we have been expecting further moderation in import growth, reflecting slowing domestic demand.
So it seems that they are trying to go for an economic boost, but it's still not happening yet.
You see, the key word here is slowing domestic demand. It goes back to the labor cost. If you pay your labor less, your worker less, they don't have the spending power to boost the economy of the country. You have to have a good minimum wage. If I'm not mistaken, I saw an article saying that Indonesia does have a minimum wage, and it's a great thing to have a minimum wage. But at the same time, it is also good to increase the minimum wage where the public society have the spending power to buy different goods, and not just saving their heck out.
And without the spending power, it is really hard to kind of give back to the economy because it is a vicious cycle. It goes back. It's hard to escape. And you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say, if they're still insisting not to increase the minimum wage of Indonesian workers, they can do what Malaysian government did. Is to have a BRIM program.
I can sense sarcasm once again over there.
Yeah. I mean like it or not, the BRIM program, as much as people are complaining, how can you just give money for the sake of welfare, and it's just like one off, like maybe a couple of times a year, but it does help to boost the economy in a way, because you make the money go around, and that's how economy are able to be generated.
But didn't that also come with a lot of increase in tax after that, increase in toll and other...
That's another topic that we will be discussing tomorrow.
Okay. So that's
all from today.
That's all the time that we have. Yeah, that was a very interesting discussion.
It was. And of course, Gowri, if you want the audience to always, listen to us, you can always tune in to DurianASEAN.com.
And we also have a Facebook page. Don't forget to like it, and you can get all the updates from us about topics, speakers, and we also post very interesting news from all over the world every day.
It is not just Southeast Asia, but interesting news that you would normally don't really realize how awesome the world is.
And we also have a Twitter page. We have a YouTube channel, so don't forget to follow and subscribe.
And interesting videos of our speakers, sharing their views. Of course, you can always listen to us via your mobile. Nowadays, smartphones are awesome.
Yes, you just have to download the TuneIn app and look for Durian ASEAN, and you will be tuned into your two beautiful DJs here.
Yay! So that's all from us today. Thanks.